This is the Condor Bushlore. Very comfortable knife to use. Let's get into the specs real quick and then we'll break this knife down a bit. Total length on this is 9.3 inches. The blade length is 4.3 inches and 3 millimeters thick. This is a Scandinavian grind and it's made out of 1075 high carbon steel. The handle is made from walnut and is fastened with these brass rivets. So right away with this blade shape, we can see that we got a good amount of drop on the spine here, bringing that tip right to center line. It really works well for those drilling motions, and you'll find that it gives you good awareness of where the tip of your knife is. One thing that's kind of interesting is that if you look closely, the grind on this knife, instead of following almost a horizontal and then curving toward the tip of the knife, there's a slight curve all for the whole length of the blade. You don't really notice it much when you're carving with it, but it does make those long sweeping cuts more efficient because it's literally moving at the ideal angle with you for the whole length of that stroke. It's kind of an interesting thing. It's a very subtle detail, but it functions well, yeah, without making it too specialized of a blade. The handle on this is incredibly comfortable. I get a little hesitant whenever there's extra contours in a knife handle because I like to be able to use whatever grip I want and not have these bulbous curves being in my way. But this handle is really amazing. It's very comfortable. It's got the belly, a little bit of belly here, and then when you look at it from this angle, you can see that there's a little bit of subtle contouring here. What that does is it really fits well in the hand, and it still doesn't get in my way with anything. I choked up on this. I mean, this pinch grip is, I can do all kinds of things with this pinch grip, and nothing's getting in my way. So I was able to, move it in all kinds of different positions when I was working with it, and it just functioned really well. Another thing about this handle, this walnut wood has been sanded so that it meets with the exposed tang of the blade. A lot of times, especially at knives at this price range, you don't see that. They just are kind of slopped together, but as you run your hand across from the wooden handle over that exposed tang, you don't feel it raised up anywhere, nothing to an extreme degree anyway. I've had knives before where they protrude a little bit, and with extended use that isn't fun to work with. It starts digging in and making hot spots. So a lot of good attention to detail on this. Another thing I like about this handle, and this might be a personal preference thing, but I found it very comfortable, is that we have a horizontal line here. It doesn't drop until the very butt of the knife. And I find that, especially for the longer sessions that I worked with this, that was nice. Looking at one of the Moras, for example, which is also a comfortable handle, there's that subtle drop near the back. A lot of knife handles have that, and it is comfortable. But that was just something I noticed when working with this knife, is that I actually really liked that straight edge. It made it nice and secure, and during the big cuts, I liked it. So, got a little lanyard hole here in the back. The biggest thing I noticed when working with this knife was just how comfortable it was, regardless of what grip I took. And again, I really like this profile of blade. Functions really well. My only issue with this knife, and I have a hard time saying this because I actually really like this handle, but I'm not always a fan of wooden handles just because they take a little more maintenance. I like to know that I can beat my gear up and it'll keep on going. And because this is fastened with these rivets, if anything does happen to the handle, I'd probably just buy a new knife instead of trying to cut those rivets and redo the handle. So that is one thing, is that you gotta treat this. You gotta oil these up every now and then, especially if they get soaked in water or exposed to different elements, or they will start to dry out and crack. That being said, this handle is going to last a long time, so it's almost a non-issue. But yeah, just the way that I am, I kind of like my stuff to be able to outlast me. The sheath that comes with the Condor Bushlore is a very nice leather sheath. Nice craftsmanship here. It's a good thick leather, soft too. It's got the two fasteners here. Stitching looks great. Little belt loop on the back. I mean, fairly simple sheath, but it's a nice looking sheath. It's well made, so I appreciate that.